Welcome back for part 2 of the medium. This is actually a follow-up to the original video that we did. We ended up in not intending to do multiple parts. We were going to do just the one video, and then I was going to rotate right into doing the performance evaluation, but there was a lot of questions regarding the dual reality, which is, well, it's kind of the key feature of the game. And well, you know what? We did a disservice by not continuing just a little bit from that video and getting to this part of the game. Now, this is the entrance of the Niwa Resort, and it is a good representation of a slightly larger room, but it does have all of the features. There is reflections going on in it, so ray trace reflections are here. The ambient occlusion, but we're using the same system, so our test bench, which has the Ryzen 9 5900X, 32 gigs of DDR4 3600, and for storage it is using a Team Force Cardia P440 PCIe Gen 4, and our GPU that we're using is the entry level for the RTX series. It is the RTX 2060. Now, this is the absolute lowest end card that you can get these ray tracing features on, and that's where the importance lies in this video. So everything from here up is better, and this is at 1080p, and we're going to take a look at ray tracing on ultra and off and with DLSS to kind of get an idea. Now, just to recap on the RT features, when you have the ray tracing set to on, you only get it enabled for single reality, and that's enabled for ambient occlusion and the reflections in the single reality. Now, ultra enables it for single and dual reality. It gets you reflections in single and dual reality, and transparent reflections in both, and higher fidelity reflections. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at how things are without any of this, because this game is quite intense, especially when you're doing this because you're rendering two full game worlds. It's not just the one game world like you would normally get in the game. So you are rendering essentially two games at once. But we're going to go ahead and turn on the overlay. Hit the wrong button, so turn on the overlay, and you can see here the frame times. It's very similar to what Digital Foundry was seeing on the console. There are some frame time consistency issues, and that is across all GPUs, so don't think that's exclusive to this setup here. Let's see, the CPU is basically sitting at idle for the most part. So we're walking through, and this is with ray tracing off, no DLSS. Notice right here on the right, that is a mirror. You can see my shadow in it. It's cube maps and screen space reflection kind of mixed there. And we're just going to walk across the area to give you an idea of how this runs. It is extremely difficult to run this game cranked up at this setting here. And this is actually where I'm going to do the test for the performance. So we're going to give it a good pounding. You can see here there's effects on the right hand side on the spirit world, and up on the top there is windows, all that is going to come into play for the ray tracing stuff. So I'm going to walk back over here, and I know it's intense, and there's people out there that's probably going to be like, ah, ha, 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 ha. But the reality is this is pretty rough to run. Just remember that performance that we're seeing dropping from 40 down to mid 20s. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and we're going to turn on ray tracing. We're going to go to ultra because we need it for the dual reality. Now, advanced, we're going to leave DLSS off. I tell you what, see, it's none, so we're going to leave it off just for now, and I want to see what we're looking at when we turn on. You can see over there in the corner, you can now see her reflection. And hold on, something is a little funny because that performance is actually not that bad. My controller quit responding. There we go. It says none. I'll tell you what, TXAA. Resume. So it turned on the effects, but it didn't really impact. Well, yeah, it did right here, about halved it. So we're down in the 20s, 22, 19, 15. So this is very representative of in the part 1, that really heavy room. Whenever I said that room would be representative of kind of the heavier parts of the game. And it appears that it is. So, 30 FPS, this game is perfectly playable because it is a slower paced game. You're not going to be doing any action sequences in it. There's no combat. But nobody wants to play at 15 frames per second. This is not an animated film that is hand-drawn. I'm going to run. Let's get back to the starting point here. But yeah, you can see the reflections in that mirror in both worlds. So that's really cool if that's something you're into. And let's Let's go back down here to advanced. We're going to enable DLSS. Let's see, DLSS high. Yep, we're going to go with quality DLSS. We're going to see how that does for us. And then we're going to play around with the other settings. So we're not that far off from where the game started. So we're over 30 FPS, and we're probably going to drop down. Yeah, I figured we were going to drop down below it. But this is extremely intense with this much room. Again, you got two worlds being fully, you know, the ray tracing ambient occlusion is super heavy, super duper heavy. I'll tell you what, now we're going to run back. So remember in part 1, if you watched that, I recommended with a card like this, I would probably just have the ray tracing on and enjoy it in the single world because, well, this performance is pretty tough in this game. I don't want to load. I want to go back to the settings and I want to turn DLSS down to performance mode, which that high is quality, medium is balanced, and low is performance as a recap. I messed that up in one of the sections in the last video. Apologies for that. And we're going to leave it on low, which is performance mode. And that's very close to the performance that we had with it just off. Let's see if we can stay over. No, still drop down. It's still super intense. But you guys wanted to see kind of where it landed. I wanted to take a look at that. This is going to be the area that we test the game whenever we do the performance evaluation. So let's see. I tell you what, here's what's really fun. So whenever we started this, you notice the performance wasn't super high. You know, in this 2060, again, we are under that 6 gig memory. See, 5,500 megabytes of VRAM being utilized. Let's go back to load. Let's tell you what, we're going to turn it back to on, and I'm going to show you that. And you see here, again, the ray trace reflections are disabled. So there's that. It's going to give you the pretties when the game can handle it and not whenever it can't. All right, let's turn that off. Go to advanced. We're going to leave DLSS on, but we're going to turn it to qual. Oh, hang on. That's what happened last time. I hit the wrong button. Let's go back to advanced. Ray tracing off. DLSS on high for quality. And there we go. The game is running so much smoother than it was without it. So it's still super tough in that spot. Told you guys I was going to find a really tough spot to run. 30. Dirty 30. But let's see. VSync off. Making sure everything's off. 30, 60. Advanced. Turn that off. See? You got to be careful with these settings. They'll move around on you. See, I wanted to go off. Back. 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 There we go. So the medium is a pretty intense game to try and run. See there, look at that. Nothing on, and we're dropping really low. And of course, with DLSS and stuff, you get the benefits the higher you go. So, you know what? Again, you guys got to see where we're going to do the test bench run, and we picked a pretty heavy scene. It's very repeatable. It's very indicative of the heaviest parts of the game. Most of the game is not this heavy, guys. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because you seemed quite interested in knowing what it was going to end up looking like. So this is the medium in dual reality, and it is a booger bear to run. All right, guys, you know what to do down in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and you know what? We'll catch you in the next one. Hang tight. We got more stuff coming.